Hello, today is September 24th, 2021, and the time is 4:59 p.m. Sometimes when you get closer to something that has memories of bad times, hard times, bad events, and you find yourself returning to perhaps it's a location and all those memories that perhaps have compiled over many years, fled back. You start to feel the way you did, for example, all those years. And you wonder, why is it that you may be gravitating back to that? Perhaps it's because there's no other choice. Now I know people are going to say, but there's always a choice. Not always. Sometimes there's just no choice. Life offers paths. Sometimes it's only one. But that's not what I really want to focus on in this video. What I really want to focus on is something that I've come to realize. Now, I've talked about in videos, for example, everything that I've gone through over all these years and having to endure it alone without anyone as a descriptive special in your life, like family, someone who loves you, someone that you can love. I've talked about this again in other videos, but I guess we can call it a epiphany. There came an epiphany about enduring things alone. And I know many people in this world later in life end up being alone for different reasons. Many of them could be very similar reasons, but for whatever reason, people end up being alone. And if your life is, for example, great, you have ways to distract yourself, life is good, then sure, you can compensate, perhaps, for the loneliness. Out of sight, out of mind, right? But then comes hardships. And sure, you can endure the hardships for a period of time alone. But what if those hardships keep going, keep piling up? Then that starts to really take its toll on you. Many people I've seen throughout my life, later in the years, being alone. A lot of people say by choice. And there is choice to that. However, a lot of these people have families. For example, maybe they have brothers and sisters. Many don't. Many still have family, parents, father. Many don't. So they also have something or someone to fall back on, and they may not even realize it. They may think that they're alone, but they're really not. Now, I'm not setting aside, as in belittling friends that someone may have who stand by an individual who has no family or someone special in their life. those people become sort of like surrogate family. But without that deep, okay, let me just stop there for a second. It's been said there's many kinds of love. But there's one type of love that perhaps is what I'm dancing around. That love of that someone special. That someone that puts you first before anyone or anything else. And that someone that you put first before anyone else or anything else. I'll reflect back on my life, and I've shared a lot about the woman that I married in 1997 and what happened in 1999 to the best of my knowledge. And I really don't know the whole story, what the truth is, what really happened, and I'll never know, and I'm not seeking to know. So long ago. But as everything transpired from then on, not knowing, and giving myself 10 years to find out, and then the opportunities that I spent years creating, working hard in law, trying to make as much money as I could to fulfill my 10-year promise, just to find out, to help, whatever, I don't know. And watching that all poof around 2009. Well, it was actually 2007, but 2009 is when I left that career. I dabbled a little bit in 2010, but it was all those years not knowing. And I remember I don't know what happened. I was married, so I turned down countless of women. And then as the years passed on, I still turned down a lot of women. I think what's on the back of my mind here is all those years not knowing, and initially, you're married, you remain faithful, but was there a point of no return that I should have just found someone new? Because the problem is, as the years progressed, I remained single, alone. Maybe there's a difference between being single and alone. Maybe they go hand in hand. I don't want to get into that discussion. It's a whole different tangent, but I see now the importance. I see people who have families and they have a wife or a husband, and they made their own family and carried on in life. A lot of people in that situation, they take for granted what they have. And they stay together through thick and thin, or they should. A lot of people don't, but again, that's a different tangent. I see the importance. I see the importance of someone who has no family to make their own family. It's something that's what I've always wanted, even since childhood. Really didn't understand it then, but I definitely understand it now. To have someone in because especially when you're going through, for example, hell on earth as a descriptive, and you become a beggar because the situation is based on a series of events put you in a almost impossible situation. You become the unwanted. A burden. And I think really that's where all this whole video is leading to, is when you start to reflect back the importance of having someone special. And not for the sake of being desperate to have someone, because you still can choose who. You don't have to just take the first person, and this applies to men and women. But I really see that importance. And if you're someone, especially if you're younger, and you find yourself in that situation where you're setting your path to be alone because you chose to, all I can say is don't. Now, of course, there are circumstances, using my example, that you get into a pattern of being alone, being single. But then there comes that point of no return, where you have to stop and say, keep going down this path. It becomes more difficult to change that path. So if you find yourself in that situation, don't make the choice of being alone. Human beings are not meant to be alone. And of course, you can be surrounded by many people, many loved ones, etc., and still feel alone. Well, that's a different topic. There's other issues going on there. And for the people who have families and their own families, don't take that for granted. Because that moment where you need to vent, just want to talk, maybe even talk for hours about nothing, just talk. You have that there. You have somebody that cares about you, you care about them. And one of the things that I really miss, or have missed over the last half of my life, is having someone that I can do things for. Even silly little things. I remember when I left Europe, and one day the woman I married was at work. I was about to leave, it was actually the next night. It was that night that I was leaving. And that day, I hid all these secret messages everywhere in our place. Some in the most odd places and stuff. Some of the messages I left gave clues to where to find the next clue and so forth. And some were maybe even items I put away. And then when we would talk on the phone, she said she found the first clue for one set of messages. And she would try to solve those puzzles. And sometimes when she was sad, I would tell her, I said, go look on the shelf behind whatever. That's kind of silly stuff. I enjoy doing it. So there's an importance to having a family, establishing a family if you don't have one. And if you're somebody that has been hurt and that's your crutch, that's your excuse, let it go. For me, it was a transition of being faithful to, I don't even know what, and at some point far later, it's probably hurt, all sorts of stuff, but it was the frog in boiling water for me. And look at me now. I sacrificed everything, trying to do something good for others, and the world has left me to hang. A lot of people don't care. So I sit here alone. No one to love. No one that loves me. It is what it is. But remember my message. If you're somebody, especially younger, and you're, for whatever reason, you're bitter or you're hurt or whatever, and you're trying to convince yourself, yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of my life alone. Don't. And if you're in a position, say similar to mine or same as mine or whatever, watch for that point of no return. Don't make those mistakes. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. This is about being the unwanted.